Mr. St. Jones, if you can't get this whole program in the archives, make sure you get this litany into the program in the archives. Thank you, thank you. At this time, we're going to hear a music selection by Mr. Lockhart, former Bulldog, color commentator, and sports information director.
Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. No one, let me come in. Doors all fastened and the windows pinned. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. Noah said you done lost your track. Can't plow straight, keep looking back. Keep your hand on the plow, hold on. To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable fall, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, to love, hear and chase from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. This is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right, without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will lie peaceful and calm when I lay to my rest. So the world will be better for this, that one man torn and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star, to reach the unreachable star.
Now, Frankie, you and Tommy, you may have missed your calling. I don't know why you're here. We are almost at what we've been waiting for all of this time, and that is the unveiling of the bus. But first, we're going to hear a few words from our sculptor. Now, let me say this. It's been wonderful working with Ronco. We've been at this for about 5 years. We've had 2 contracts, and he has not gone up on the price, not one bit. He has worked with us very, very well, and I appreciate it. Ronco.
First of all, thank you all for coming out on this rather auspicious occasion. Now, since I am a sculptor, I'd much rather my work be seen than my voice be heard. Okay? So with that in mind, I'm going to keep my comments very brief. Okay? But there are a few things I would like to say. First off, it was indeed an honor and a privilege and pleasure working with TJ and Melvin and the other members of the Memorial Committee. I think they did an excellent job in honoring Coach Cruz, and I think they deserve a round of applause. Now, whenever I I start a commission like this, I usually begin the process with extensive research into the individual's life. During my research, I became very impressed with the coaching talent of Coach Cruz in both football and baseball, as well as the legend he became here at Alabama A&M. So it is in memory of his life and his accomplishments that we dedicate this memorial today. I appreciate being a part of the process and learning what a fine man he truly was. So, in conclusion, may his spirit continue to live through this monument and in the hearts and souls of all those whose lives he touched. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bronco. Now, we're going to have the unveiling. We're going to move the podium out of the way. Donna, pick up Ms. Cruz. Ms. Cruz, want you up here. Dr. Evgeny, Ms. Gerard, Mr. Robinson, the entire committee up front. Mrs. Cruz, but she had yielded to her favorite son, Mr. Gunn. But I have to say to you, you know, when we started this process, Mrs. Cruz was elated, overjoyed, and she was the very first person to make her contribution. And I'm not going to say this for anybody else, but Mrs. Cruz donated the first $1,000. Now, my wife and I, we made several trips up here back and forth because I was the chairperson. I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on. But most of the time when we had a meeting, I would go by and kind of bring Mrs. Cruz up to date. And she would also always say, TJ, now we're gonna have to hurry up and get this thing put up. I want to see it up. I don't want it to go up after I'm gone. I want to see it go up. So she said that over and over. Well, just this past week, we know Miss Cruz had a little situation. Donna called me, and I said, "Oh my Lord, we don't have this thing up yet. We got to get this up." But thank God she's here to see it. And we're going to have Mr. Garner come on and say a few words on her behalf.
Ladies and gentlemen, a week ago at this very hour, Ms. Cruz was 4 hours from the end of a 2-day, 2-night ordeal. She was released from a 5-day stay in the hospital on Tuesday afternoon. As a result of her continued recuperation from that ordeal and the emotion of this unveiling, she asked that I convey her thanks for this day and this entire weekend. Her first thanks and continued thanks is to the Almighty God for dispatching a guardian angel to sit by her and comfort her during her distress. She remained alert and of sound mind throughout. Mrs. Cruz is eternally grateful for her loyal friend, Felicia Wilson, for following her instinct to alert others and join them as they rush to her side. Your continued prayers are appreciated. Mrs. Cruz also wants to express her sincere thanks to Dr. and Mrs. Gugini for their kindness since their arrival, and to Dr. Gugini for assisting the former players with this project. A thank you to Joyce Rod for her leadership and concern. Don Howard, Arthur Wynn, thank you. A thank you to a longtime friend, Dr. and Mrs. Henry Bradford Jr., and to Dr. Bradford for his timely litany. To the sculptor, program participant, thank you for giving them your time and effort to this moment. To the sculptor, Bronco Medina, quoted, I was not sure what to expect. You got it right. Also, thanks to your mother, one of the very first donors to this project. Please bear in mind that I may have overlooked a few things. At 92, I think I have more in the right to forgive a thing or two. A very special thank you to the 1966 undefeated championship team led by Thomas T.J. Jones for seeing this project to its conclusion. You granted my wish that I would see it come to fruition. Still quoted, Louis Cruz is smiling. The family is rejoicing. And as Cruz would say, only the pure in heart shall wear the maroon and white. Sir. I thank all of you for coming, Martha Cruz and family.
I'm about to name. First, I want the contributors, those who contributed at all toward this effort, to please stand and be recognized. I must say that the undefeated 66 team, we had our reunion, we had some money left over, so we used that money to be a startup for this project. Okay, we want to give thanks to our sculptor, Mr. Bronco. You did a fabulous job. Our site preparation team or committee is Melvin Hines Enterprise Inc. Did a beautiful job. You know, when we started this program a few years ago, Hines had, and it was a much larger project at that time, but he had already secured all of the construction materials free. Of course, that was a few years ago until the crisis hit. So we have a new company that's in charge, or a new manager. So we did have to have some cost. but the material was at cost. That was Sherman Industries. Sherman Industries. Mr. Andrew Fuller, and Mr. Fuller, we call him Tex. He's the one that took care of the blocks. He worked very closely with Melvin Hines in getting this base put together. And of course, Stanley Construction Company. We all know Stanley. He's been around forever. Always contributed to Alabama A&M. And of course, Gerard Linger, Dr. Higgini, we couldn't have done this without you. Thanks for your cooperation. Some other acknowledgments. People who were doing things from the rear, we'll say. I must say this too, before I get started with the other ones. Thanks to Mr. Robinson and to Mr. Blankenship, 2 trustees, supported us very, very well. Ms. Gerard, thank you. Mr. Hicks, Department of Athletics, Aramark, Dining and Services, Ms. Austin. Let me say it. Ms. Austin was the athletic director at A&M when we started and actually when we completed this project. She worked with us very, very closely, and believe me, Curtis Harris can probably contest to this, because she allowed us to pass out flyers, and we put them on cars, and that's not a standard procedure there now. But when we finished, Curtis Harris had to go home with his bum knee from playing football. It swelled up on him. That's how hard we worked to put that out there. Thank you, Ms. Austin. The Department of Public Safety, Public Relations, the Physical Facilities, Property Management, the Telecommunications Center, and of course, Mr. James Childress. Those individuals contributed very, very well, and we appreciate all your help and support. Now, the Lewis Cruz Committee. When we started, I was a part of that 66 team. We kind of had a brainstorm, and we formulated these players, basically, from Huntsville. And I wanted to be a supporting person. I wanted to be one of those that was going to help, because I didn't think I could do a good job from long distance. But they pulled me into the chairmanship anyway. And I took it in stride and went ahead. But I couldn't have done the job that I did without Hines and Garner. See, you have to have somebody here on site with their finger on the pulse to know what's going on, who to talk to in case of emergency to get things done. A good example, we got here today, there were no chairs out here, no podium. And Mr. Garner went to work. Before you know it, these guys were on the way. They were coming, but they were taking their time. But that's the kind of thing, you need a person in charge here to get it done. So Melvin and Garner, thank you. And the rest of the committee, I want you guys to stand up for me. Stand up for me. You guys did a yeoman's job. I just can't say enough. Without these guys, I'm not sure if we could have pulled off anything. Because all of the meetings, all of the ups and downs that we had, we stuck in there together. And whatever needed to be done, together, we did that. And I thank you. The last person I want to mention, and when you start talking about Coach Cruz, you kind of get personal. Because without him, from Tampa, Florida, to Huntsville, Alabama, I never would have come here. But thanks to him, I also met my wife. 43 years. Now, these guys don't know that, but every time I made a trip up here, my wife was with me. She only missed a couple of times, but I'm one of those guys that go to sleep in a minute, so she wasn't about to let me drive by myself. So she was behind me 100%, all of the typing, and this has been forever, ever since we've been married for 43 years. She has done all of my typing. All of the typing, all of the corrections, dotting the I's and the T's, and whatever else needed to be done to make me look good, that's what she was doing. So thank you, Ruby Jones. Now, Dr. Bradford, the Louis Cruz Memorial Bus Committee is indebted for your preparation and inspiration. In the litany that you just read, your unwavering enthusiasm and tireless devotion to Alabama A&M. And I will say it again, he is an icon in his own right. Dr.